real men, train them up, send a team out. Live a sin, represent for the king's crown. Live us 1 million cent. Hey, let's go.
Welcome to the 1 Million Cent podcast family. My name is Ryan Fontenot, and this is a show where we believe that every follower of Jesus is called to go, tell, and make disciples. Not just on Sundays, not just at the altar, not just at youth camp, not just on the mission trip, but every single day of our life, we are on mission. A bold one, too. That mission is to train 1 million teens around the globe to share the gospel by 2030 in their everyday life. And today, hey, I'm excited because we're kicking off a brand new 12-episode training series called Live Sent. Over the next 12 episodes, you're going to become more competent, more confident, and I believe more consistent in having Jesus conversations with anyone, anywhere, anytime. So let's go. Hey, everybody, I want to ask you a question right now out of the gate. When was the last time you told someone about Jesus? Now, listen, don't give me that Sunday school answer. I live my faith out loud every day. No. I mean, actually opened up your mouth and told some other human being about the hope that can be found only in Jesus Christ. Hey, listen, if you're like most Christians, it's been a while, or perhaps like most Christians, never. And here's the thing. It's not a guilt trip. It's a diagnosis. And today we're talking about what actually is wrong and why it matters more than almost anything else in your Christian life. Now, listen, I told you this whole series is from my book, Live Sent. We're just going chapter by chapter. If you have the book, you can read along, you can study throughout the week, you can highlight it and everything like that. But chapter by chapter, listen, after you watch these episodes, listen to them, you won't have to buy the book. But if you want to, go to Amazon, it's right there for you. Judges chapter 2 and verse 10, the verse that shook my world over 20 years ago, is really one that helps us understand what's going on. It says this, that after that whole generation had been gathered to their fathers, another generation grew up, one that did not know the Lord, nor the things that he had done. Think about that. A whole generation who didn't know the Lord, didn't know what he had done, not because God failed them, not because Jesus could stop saving, but because the generation before them failed to tell them. And I'm worried that that's exactly what's happening right now. Right now, people in your neighborhood, in your school, in your workplace, they don't know about Jesus. Not because Jesus can't save them, but because you and I aren't telling them. So here are a few numbers that maybe will change how you see the world around you. When Barna did a study on Gen Z, they came out with this reality that 1/3 or 34% of Gen Zers claim to be atheist or agnostic or have no religious affiliation at all, that only 4% of them held a biblical worldview. And yet, in the midst of all that sad news, there seems to be good news too. Because 2 out of every 3 teens say their spiritual journey, it's important to them. So here's what that means. Although they don't know the Lord, they're atheist, agnostic, or have no religious affiliation at all. They don't have a biblical worldview. That spiritual hunger, here's what it means. It means they're open, they're searching, they're looking for answers. And someone's going to tell them, why not us? See, the real problem actually, let me just get gut level honest with you right here. The real problem with a lost generation is not the lost generation. It's the saved generation, the people who do know Jesus, not telling the people out there who don't know Jesus. Maybe I could say it like this. The problem is not them, Christian. The problem is us. Because the majority of Christians in the past 6 months haven't told anybody about Jesus. Like 44% of Christian teens, they don't even believe they have a responsibility to share their faith with others. I mean, we're literally losing a generation, not because of the enemy, not because he's too strong, not because he's too mighty. No, because the church has gone silent. I think about what Penn Jillette said. You remember he's the magician, the illusionist, the famous atheist. He once said this, how much do you have to hate somebody not to proselytize them? How much do you have to hate someone to believe that they are going to an eternal hell and could have everlasting life and not tell them? Boy, mic drop moment. See, an atheist like Penn Jillette, he understands the logic better than many Christians do. We have hope, we have life, we have Jesus, but yet we keep him to ourselves. So let me tell you a little story. I grew up in a small East Texas town, and one thing my brothers and I used to like to do was to go out into the woods and ride pine trees. We climbed these little saplings, and if you climb up high enough, they'd start swaying like this, and then if you leaned over, you could literally ride them all the way to the ground. It was super fun. But I remember the first time I ever tried this. I mean, I was freaking out. I mean, I wanted to ride the trees so bad because my older brothers were riding the trees, and I wanted to ride the trees. But I was scared to death. I climbed up a little bit and I was like, is this high enough? They were like, no, keep going. Climbed up a little bit more. Is this high enough? No, keep going. Climbed a little bit higher. No, keep going. Everything in me wanted to get down, stay safe, and play it safe. But my brothers kept saying, keep going, keep going. And eventually the tree started swaying, and I rode that sucker all the way to the ground, and it was amazing. When I hit the ground, I mean, the euphoria, the adrenaline, oh my goodness, it was incredible. Listen. You know what my goal is over these next 12 episodes together? Because I know you want to tell people about Jesus. If Christ lives in you and he's changed you, you want to tell people about Jesus. But everything in you is shaking and nervous, and you want to stay safe. You want to stay grounded. Here's my goal, is to be your big brother through this thing, saying, keep going, keep going. I think that's where we are when it comes to evangelism. We want the thrill, but we are scared to death. That we grip our safety and our security and want our feet planted firmly on the ground. But I'm going to be here. Keep going, keep going. Why? Well, because you weren't made to stay silent. You weren't made to be quiet. So we were made to shine out and speak up. I love what Charles Spurgeon said. He said, to be a soul winner is the happiest thing in the world. And with every soul you bring to Jesus, he said, you seem to get a new heaven here on earth. Come on. If you've ever led someone to Jesus, you know what he's talking about. And here's what I want you to do this week. Just one thing. I want you to identify 3 people in your life that don't know Jesus, or at least you're not sure. I want you to write their names down. Not I want you to start sharing the gospel. You can share the gospel with them, but I want you to write their names down somewhere where you can see them every day. And I want you to do 2 things. Pray for yourself and pray for them. Lord, what's keeping me silent? What has kept me silent? Why haven't I been telling them? And Lord, would you begin to do a work in their life? Prepare their hearts for when I share the gospel with them. 3 names, 1 question, like every day. Lord, why haven't I told them? Why haven't I told them? And Lord, prepare their hearts for when I do tell them. See, here's your 1 million cent challenge for episode 1. Ask God to help you get rid of the excuses holding you back. Fear, pride, arrogance, worry, whatever. Lord, help get rid of it. Ignite a fire in me to tell people in my life about Jesus. See, but somebody's going to wait for the fire to be overwhelming. Don't just wait for a spark. Wait for the spark and then go tell. The problem is not really out there. Remember, the real problem is in us, and the solution is in us, and his name is Jesus. The Holy Spirit of God living inside of you, working in you and on you and through you to live sent and tell people about Jesus. So the next episode, here's what we're going to do. We're going to answer the one question that keeps most believers kind of stuck, and that's why. Why should I tell? Why does this matter? Why should I live sent? But until then, write those 3 names down, put them somewhere you can see them every single day. Pray for yourself, pray for them. Until next time, remember this though, today is always a great day to tell someone about Jesus. So let's go.